Hello! As regular viewers are no doubt aware, on this channel we hate wasting leftover food and will employ all the technologies available to make our leftover food last longer. I mean, cheese, we've pretty much got that all sewn up. There he is, look. The man whose wife runs a stock photo company. Yes, but what if you've got some food that isn't cheese that you want to not go off? And what if you've got some meat or some, vegetables or some bread or something? Well, there's always this option. Or at least there was until they apparently stopped selling them. But what if you want an option that isn't effectively just a funny coloured plastic bag? You want something that could be, for instance, be quite effective in the scheme of things. Well, I've been sent something called a FoodSaver. This is it. You can tell by the way it has the words FoodSaver embossed on it. It's not got any angles and it's nice and black, so it's undetectable to enemy radar, and you can, I don't know, keep your leftovers fresh behind enemy lines or whatever. If you haven't guessed, the whole point of this is it gets plastic bags, you put things in the plastic bags, it sucks all the air out, and they apparently keep fresh for longer. We shall be testing that later. And it's a relatively simple thing to use. Let us demonstrate. First things first, open it up and pull out one of the mighty bag things. I'll be calling them bag things, although their official title is Chichiprrrts, but I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. Push down here. These things do click on the outside. And now press the sealing button. That seals the bag. It doesn't make it fly up and stick on the ceiling, although that would be visually amazing, and I really wish it did, because that would make for a fantastic video. Anyway, that red light will go off soon, which you can barely see. There we are. And please go off. Yay! I'd run out of boring things to talk about. And indeed, it's now sealed at the bottom. Ooh. Now what you need to do is find what it is you don't want to go rotten. I've got some leftover broccoli! Oh no! The world is doomed when my broccoli goes off. But wait, maybe the bag can help us, etc, etc. That was called creating a narrative. Right, so what we're going to do is pull it back a little bit from here. I'm not going to need that much space in it, actually. I'm going to put it quite far back. And now, using this amazing cutting thing... That wasn't the real noise, that was me. It cuts it quite well, and I can shove this inside comme ça. Now, here comes the interesting part. What you have to do now is open her up, remove this bit, shove the end of the bag in, and sort of push it down, like that I would have said, or possibly actually doing it correctly, that might help as well. There we are. Pop this down again, click it in and seal it all up. And now, press the sucking button, as I'm referring to it as. Mother, he suffocated the broccoli, Mother! And now it will automatically seal the bag bit. And when that red light goes off and I can stop talking about absolutely nothing, we should have some broccoli in a sealed bag, like some sort of space future, like in Back to the Future 2, where they've got dehydrated pizzas. Except not like that at all, because that was weird. And here you are. It is now in an airtight bag without much of that whole air stuff in it. And apparently it will make things last a lot longer without going rancid. We shall be testing that a little bit later. But in the meantime, I'm going to chuck that to one side. The bags are very hard wearing, incidentally, which is why the broccoli didn't just burst open. I have faith. Tell you what else this does. Click her in. Oh, hey, look. It is a container. One of those see-through containers you've probably heard mentioned in Star Trek. Well, by using this, you can stick that on there like that, stick that in here, and as you've guessed, you can suck all the air out of it, keeping whatever's in your container hopefully fresher for longer. Yeah, and yes, I did get some big marshmallows. If you've never seen this, this is amazing. Right, here is a giant marshmallow that we shall call Jeff for the purposes of this video. Pop it in like that, and take the air out. Yes, they swell alarmingly. So alarmingly that your doctor would faint if he was to see it. And now Jeff the Marshmallow is probably like twice the size or some other integer around that kind of thing. And you can just take the top off, and with minimal air loss, it now sits in there like that. But here's my favourite bit. Press the button on the top and it releases all the air. Ready, steady. How weird is that? Answer, not really that weird, but quite unexpected if you don't know the properties of marshmallows in a vacuum. And if you don't, where have you been your whole life? And also, for fans of bottles, they've got this thing that goes in the top of a bottle so you can suck the air out of a bottle. This is to keep fluids fresh, one presumes. Anyway, I thought it was time for a bit of an old test for the mighty thing, and I didn't know how to do it in a way that would be visually impressive, but also quite unpleasant. So then I came up with the Rotten Sausage Challenge. I feel I should have a theme tune, but nobody would write one for some reason. Basically, I got myself some good old-fashioned British bangers. If you're not aware of what a British banger is, it's a traditional British sausage, which is kind of like a load of eyelids and anuses all minced up and stuck in an old condom. Anyway, I got myself a packet of those, and I let them go rancid. Basically, I sealed 2 in the FoodSaver bags, and I just wrapped 2 in cling film and put them in the fridge. I also put the FoodSaver ones in the fridge as well, I should point out. And then I left them for just under 1 month. Yes, they will be rotten. We are not expecting the FoodSaver to have kept them edible for a full month. That will have been a minor miracle. Basically, I'm trying to see if the cling film ones have gone noticeably more rancid than the FoodSaver ones. You see? That's the kind of attention to detail we have. We're trying to save leftovers in a way that there's no way they'd be edible at the end of it. Do not try this at home. Right, so bear with me. I'm going to piss off to the fridge and get myself some rotten sausages. Okay, so here goes. Scissors for opening. The FoodSaver sealed sausages. And the cling film sausages, which look kind of cooked, which I'm slightly worried about. I don't know how they managed to cook themselves in the fridge. I am slightly dreading this. Right. I'm going to take some precautions on this. Because I think this is going to be really quite unpleasant. As I say, nothing really can keep meat of this type fresh in a fridge for like a month past its best before date, or in fact its use by date, as was written on the package. But hey, we're going to see the best we can do. God, these gloves are dreadful, really cheap ones. Let's check there's no holes in them to let the sausage germs infest me. Right, we should be all right. Right, first up, let's look at the FoodSaver ones. They look kind of like they did when I sealed them, but there's a telltale sign that badness is afoot. It's still completely vacuum sealed, but they're no longer tightly sealed, which means they've been giving off some kind of gas or fluid, or possibly both. Hold on to your noses, gentlemen, as we cut inside. Oh dear, this is going to be bad, isn't it? Right. Doesn't smell of that much, actually. It smells slightly alcohol-y, which will obviously, well, I think we can probably guess what that is. Meat that's gone off. Yeah, sort of a horrible sweet alcohol-y smell. And, yeah, the actual sausages themselves are pretty similar, to be honest, to when they were in there fresh. So, yep, they're pretty rotten, but has it had a considerable effect? Has it kept them, well, less rotten than just the cling film ones? I've actually had these in the back of my fridge, and now I just want to throw out everything in the fridge. In fact, I might literally do that, because this is actually far worse than I imagined. Right, they're rock hard, I mean really hard. They're sort of pink in the middle where they've been touching each other. Wow, yeah, there's quite a lot of visible mould on them, and the stench is unbelievable. It's nauseating smell of rotting meat. Yeah, I think we can safely say the FoodSaver is quite effective at stopping things going mouldy so quickly, because they're pretty bad, but these are something that I'm going to have to clear the air. I'll be back in a second. Ugh. Well, that was pretty bad. This whole room now stinks like a toilet from The Walking Dead or something. Fantastic. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Because it was visually interesting. That's the answer and the watch phrase of the day. So, other than broccoli, what can you vacuum seal? Answer pretty much anything that will fit in a bag, of course. For instance, I sealed this Power Lords action figure from the 1980s for a pleasing Han Solo in carbonite style effect, although it's slightly freakier due to the design of the figure. Ugh. God, every time I see that, kids' toys from the 80s. Who's got an idea what was going on? Oh yeah, drugs, I remember now. Tell you what's always fun. sealing a soft toy, like this horrible Yo Gabba Gabba thing I did a while ago, because they go really, really flat, like almost frighteningly so. I might actually hide this under a floorboard in the house, and then like 300 years' time they will find this and think it was an idol of a lost religion or something. Or maybe just give it to a child like that and tell them not to open it or they'll catch a deadly disease. Children really, really love that. Ah, here's my gloves. I've been wondering where they went. Might get those out, actually. It's that kind of weather where you need a good pair of gloves, you know what I mean? And, there we go. Marvellous. Glove-tastic smell on those. Well, they're probably going to smell like rotten sausages now, but there's another reason for that. So yeah, really, this thing is very, very effective. I mean, whether you are, you know, sealing the things that are important to you so that they stay fresh for years to come, or just, you know, something to put a snack aside for future eating, you can't go far wrong. So pretty much looking at this, it's fun to use, it seems to be pretty effective. What could be wrong with it? You've probably guessed already, haven't you? It's pretty bloody expensive. Cheapest I could find it, in fact, it didn't seem to be sold by many places actually, but the cheapest was Argos at £60. I don't know, that seems quite a lot for this. It's got that kind of £30 thing in my head, so when I saw it for 60 I was like, I don't know, you would have to be getting through a lot of leftovers that you didn't eat for a while. Could you save money by buying in bulk in that sense? Maybe, but I don't know, because when you then factor in the cost of the roll and, you know, the cost of the accessories and things, it's quite a pricey thing. I think this is one of those things, if you saw this and thought, my God, that will save me a fortune, it's probably worth buying. If not, it's probably a bit too pricey. But I tell you what, if you get sent one to review, definitely accept it, because it's really fun to play with. Subscribe for